The chamber was vast enough to hold stars. 12 species sat in judgment, their forms ranging from crystalline beings that hummed with inner light to massive creatures whose breath moved like storms. At the center of it all stood Captain Ji-won Park, alone representing all of humanity. She had traveled 3 months to reach this place. The Galactic Council Station floated between galaxies, a neutral ground where the great powers met to decide the fate of lesser species. Earth had been discovered 3 years ago, and now the Council would decide if humanity deserved a place among the stars. Ji-won wore her dress uniform, dark blue with Earth's symbol on her shoulder. She carried no weapons. The Council had forbidden it. She carried only a data chip containing everything humanity wanted to share with the galaxy: their art, their music, their history, their dreams. The Vren spoke first. They were tall and thin with skin like polished metal and eyes that never blinked. Their representative, High Chancellor Vrex, looked down at Ji-won from his floating platform. "We have examined your species," Vrex said, his voice echoing through translation devices. "We have studied your wars, your conflicts, your primitive violence. You are dangerous and uncontrolled." Ji-won kept her face calm. "We have also studied ourselves. We have learned from our mistakes. We have united our world and reached for the stars in peace." Peace. The word came from the Takran ambassador, a creature of armor and blade. "You speak of peace while your world maintains weapons capable of destroying your own planet 3 times over." "Those weapons are remnants," Ji-won said. "We are dismantling them. We have not used nuclear weapons in over 900 years. But you keep them," Vrex said. "This shows your true nature." Violence waiting to emerge. The other council members murmured agreement. Ji-won felt the weight of their judgment pressing down on her. She had expected skepticism, but this felt like something else. This felt like a decision already made. "The Council has reached a conclusion," Vrex announced. "Humanity will be permitted to join the galactic community under the following terms. You will surrender all military vessels to Council control. You will dismantle all weapons of mass destruction under our supervision. You will provide 40% of Earth's resources for the next 100 years as payment for our guidance and protection. You will accept Council observers in all your governments. These terms are not negotiable." Ji-won felt her stomach turn cold. This was not membership. This was conquest. This was slavery wrapped in diplomatic language. "And if we refuse?" she asked quietly. The chamber fell silent. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Vrex's metallic face showed something that might have been surprise. "Species do not refuse the Council," he said. "I am refusing now," Ji-won said. Her voice was steady. "Earth declines your terms. We will remain independent and chart our own course among the stars." The Takran ambassador rose from his seat, his armor clanking. "You understand what you are saying? The Council has offered you survival. Without us, you are alone in a dangerous galaxy." "We have always been alone," Ji-won said. "We survived ice ages and plagues. We survived ourselves. We will continue to survive." Vrex's eyes narrowed. "This is foolishness. We offer you one final chance. Accept our terms within 72 hours, or the Council will consider Earth a rogue element, a threat to galactic stability." "We are not a threat to anyone," Ji-won said. "We want only to explore and learn, to meet other species as equals." "Equals?" Vrex laughed, a sound like scraping metal. "You have been in space for barely 200 years. We have civilizations older than your entire evolutionary history. You are children playing with fire." "Then let us learn," Ji-won said. "Let us grow, but not as your servants." 72 hours, Vrex repeated. "After that, we will do what must be done to protect the galaxy from your kind." Ji-won looked at each council member in turn. Some looked away. Others stared back with alien expressions she could not read. She saw no allies here, no friends, only species who had already decided humanity's fate. She touched her hand to her heart, the human gesture of sincerity. "I came here hoping to find friends among the stars. Instead, I found masters who fear what they do not control. History will remember this day. I hope you will too." She turned and walked toward the exit. Behind her, the Council erupted in angry voices. She heard Vrex shouting something about arrogance and consequences. She did not turn around. Her ship waited at the docking port, a small vessel called the Horizon. Her crew of 12 stood at attention as she boarded. They looked at her face and knew the answer before she spoke. "Plot course for Earth," she said. Maximum speed. Did they accept us? Asked Lieutenant Doyen, her second officer. They tried to enslave us, Ji-won said. I told them no. The crew stood in shocked silence. They all knew what this meant. They had all hoped for a different outcome. What happens now? Doyen asked. Now we go home, Ji-won said. We prepare, and we hope they're bluffing. But she knew they were not bluffing. She had seen it in Rex's eyes. The council had expected submission. They had received defiance. They would not forgive that. The Horizon left the station and jumped to faster-than-light speed. Behind them, the Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Within hours, they declared Earth a hostile entity. Within days, they authorized military action. The Vren Fifth Fleet began its journey toward Earth's solar system. 800 ships carrying weapons that could crack planets and warriors who had conquered a dozen worlds. They expected an easy victory against the primitive humans. High Chancellor Vrex broadcast a message to his fleet commanders. Make it quick, but make it thorough. Humanity must serve as an example. No species refuses the council. Let them remember this lesson for the next 1,000 years. 3 months later, when Ji-won's ship finally reached Earth, she found her world preparing for war. Admiral Taeyang Nam met her at the landing pad, his face grim. They're coming, he said. Our deep space sensors picked up their fleet. 800 vessels, maybe more. They'll be here in 2 weeks. Ji-won looked up at the sky, still blue and peaceful. Somewhere beyond it, death was approaching. She thought about Frex's words. 72 hours to surrender. They had given Earth the same amount of time. Send a message to every ship, every station, every settlement we have, she said. Tell them war is coming. Tell them we did not choose this. They did. What else should I tell them? Taeyang asked. Ji-won remembered standing alone before the council. Remembered their contempt. Their certainty that humanity would break. Tell them to prepare everything we have. Every weapon, every ship, every person who can fight. We are going to show the galaxy what happens when you mistake mercy for weakness. She looked at Taeyang, and he saw something in her eyes that made him step back. Not fear, not anger. Something colder. Something that had been waiting inside humanity for all its violent history. They chose war, Ji-won said softly. Now they will learn what that truly means. Commander Doyen Choi watched the Vren fleet emerge from faster-than-light space, like demons crawling from hell. 800 ships, each one larger than anything humanity had ever built. They filled his display screens with angry red markers, spreading across the outer solar system like a disease. He stood on the bridge of Bastion Olympus, Earth's largest orbital defense station. Around him, 300 crew members worked frantically at their stations. Through the viewports, he could see Earth below, blue and green and beautiful. 18 billion people lived down there. Most of them had no idea what was about to happen. All ships, battle positions, Doyen said into his communicator. His voice was calm even though his hands wanted to shake. This is not a drill. The enemy is here. Earth's defense fleet moved into formation. 200 ships built from every nation's space program. Military destroyers. Corporate cargo haulers retrofitted with weapons. Mining vessels loaded with explosives. Even some old satellite repair ships, anything that could fly and fight. It was not enough. Every tactical simulation said the same thing. Earth would lose this battle. The only question was how long they could last. The Vren sent their message. It appeared on every screen, every communicator, every display on Earth and in orbit. Humans of Earth. This is High Chancellor Vrex of the Galactic Council. You have refused our generous terms. You have chosen to stand against the natural order of the galaxy. We give you one final opportunity. Surrender all military forces immediately. Prepare for occupation. Resistance will result in total annihilation. You have 1 hour. Doyen looked at his command staff. They looked back at him, waiting. Some of them were young, fresh from the academy. Others were veterans of the small conflicts that had happened as humanity expanded to Mars and the asteroids. All of them were afraid. All of them stood ready. Open a channel, Doyen said. All frequencies. I want everyone to hear this. The communications officer nodded. Channel open, sir. Doyen took a breath. He thought about his daughter, safe in a bunker in Seoul. He thought about his parents who had lived through Earth's unification wars. He thought about every human who had ever looked at the stars and dreamed. This is Commander Doyen Choi of Bastion Olympus. To the Vren fleet, we decline your offer. To the people of Earth, stay strong. To anyone else listening, remember that Earth did not start this war. They did. He cut the transmission and looked at his tactical officer. How long until they're in weapons range? 90 minutes, sir. Then we have 90 minutes to live. Let us make them count. All ships prepare to engage. The Vren did not wait 90 minutes. They opened fire at extreme range, testing Earth's defenses. Missiles streaked through space, moving faster than anything humans had created. Point defense systems shot most of them down, but 3 got through. 3 human ships vanished in balls of fire. Doyen gritted his teeth. Return fire. All weapons, Earth's fleet shot back. Railguns fired metal slugs at enormous speeds. Missiles launched with nuclear warheads. Laser batteries cut through the darkness. A few Vren ships took damage, their shields flashing. None of them died. The battle became chaos. Ships twisted and turned through 3-dimensional space. Explosions lit up the void. Doyen watched his tactical display and made decisions that sent men and women to their deaths. Protecting Earth meant sacrificing everything else. Mars Colony sent a distress call. Vren forces were landing. Doyen had no ships to spare. He listened to the transmission cut to static and felt a piece of his soul die. The Jupiter mining stations exploded one by one. Hundreds of workers gone in moments. The asteroid bases went silent. Earth's colonies were falling, and Doyen could do nothing but watch. Sir, we have lost 40% of the fleet, his tactical officer reported. His voice shook. Recommendation is to fall back to close Earth orbit. Denied, Doyen said. We hold here. Every minute they fight us is one more minute for Earth to prepare. But Earth was not just preparing. Deep in bunkers beneath mountains, engineers were working on desperate plans. Engineer Sumin Kang had not slept in 3 days. She stood in the command center beneath the Rockies, surrounded by screens showing the battle above. Every time a human ship died, she felt it like a physical blow. But she could not stop. She would not stop. The mining drones are ready, her assistant reported. 2,000 of them, loaded with high explosives. Good, Sumin said. What about the cargo haulers? 50 volunteered. They are loading them with reactor cores set to overload. Sumin closed her eyes. 50 ships. 50 crews. All volunteers. All knowing they would not come back. Send them my thanks, she said quietly. And may they forgive us for asking. She activated her plan. The mining drones, small automated vehicles used for asteroid work, launched from hidden bays. They looked like debris, like junk floating in space. The Vren ignored them until they started to accelerate. By then it was too late. 2,000 explosive-filled drones slammed into the Vren formation. They could not destroy the big warships, but they damaged shields and sensors. They created chaos. The cargo haulers came next, piloted by volunteers. They broadcast fake distress signals, pretending to be damaged civilian ships. Some Vren captains, greedy for easy kills, broke formation to pursue them. Captain Hajun Lee flew the hauler called Indomitable. He was 60 years old, a cargo pilot his whole life. He had a wife and 3 grandchildren in Busan. He had volunteered for this mission because someone had to, and he was old enough that losing a few years did not matter. But he wanted those years to count. He flew straight at a Vren dreadnought, ignoring the warning shots. His reactor was already overloading, barely contained. In his cockpit, alarm screamed. The ship shook itself apart. He could see the Vren ship getting closer, its weapons charging. For Earth, he whispered, and disabled the reactor containment. The explosion was visible from Earth's surface. A new sun briefly lit the darkness of space. When it faded, the Vren dreadnought was gone, torn into pieces. The footage spread across every human network. People in bunkers watched it. Soldiers in orbit watched it. Admiral Taeyang, coordinating Earth's defense, watched it and felt tears on his face. That is what we are, he said to his staff. That is why we will win. But winning looked very far away. 4 weeks into the siege, Earth's fleet was down to 70 ships. Bastion Olympus was damaged, running on backup power. The Vren had lost almost half their fleet, but they kept coming. Doyen walked the damaged corridors of his station, looking at the tired faces of his crew. They had not given up. After 4 weeks of constant battle, they still fought with everything they had. Commander, his communications officer called. The Vren flagship is hailing us. Put them through. Vrex's face appeared on the screen. The High Chancellor looked furious. This war was supposed to be over in days. Instead, humanity was making the mighty Vren bleed. You cannot win, Vrex said. Surrender now and we will spare your civilians. Doyen laughed. It was not a happy sound.
I'm not gonna lie,
You said you would destroy us in a month. It has been a month. We are still here. You are dying. So are you, Doyen said. Every day you lose more ships. Every day we find new ways to kill you. How many ships will it cost to defeat Earth? How many of your people will die? Are you sure this is worth it? Rex's face twisted with rage. We are the Galactic Council. We do not negotiate with primitives. Then keep dying with them, Doyen said, and cut the transmission. He looked out at space. The Vren fleet was reforming, preparing for another assault. Earth had maybe 3 more days before the defenses collapsed completely. But 3 days ago, humanity had 2 days. Yesterday, they had 1 day. Every moment they survived was a moment they were not supposed to have. Doyen opened a channel to all remaining human forces. This is Commander Choi. I know you are tired. I know you are scared. I know many of you think we cannot win this fight. You are probably right. But here is what the Vren did not understand. Humans do not fight to win. We fight because someone has to. We fight because Earth is behind us and there is nowhere else to go. We fight because if we are going to die, we will die standing up. He paused, gathering his thoughts. In 3 days, maybe less, Bastion Olympus will fall. But before we fall, we are going to make them remember us. We are going to make them tell stories about the humans who would not kneel. Are you with me? The responses came from every ship, every station, every defender who still drew breath. They were with him. They would fight until the end.
Oh yeah, they're right here.
Doyen smiled grimly. The Vren wanted war. They were getting more than they bargained for. Dr. Yuna Shin had not seen sunlight in 2 months. She worked in a facility that did not officially exist, buried 3 kilometers beneath the dark side of Earth's moon. The entrance was hidden. The records were classified beyond top secret. Even most world leaders did not know this place was real. It was called Project Prometheus, and it contained every weapon humanity had ever deemed too terrible to use. Yuna walked through corridors lined with blast doors. Each door had a label. Behind one door were biological weapons that could target specific DNA sequences. Behind another were nanite swarms that could consume entire cities. Behind a third were quantum weapons that could make matter simply stop existing. These were not theoretical weapons. They were real, tested, and ready for deployment. Humanity had built them during the darkest days of the Unification Wars, when every nation feared being wiped out by its enemies. After peace came, the weapons were not destroyed. They were hidden here, kept in case the nightmares returned. The nightmares had returned. Above the moon, Earth was fighting for survival. Bastion Olympus was barely holding. Commander Doyen was buying time with the lives of his people, but time was running out. Yuna reached the central command room. Admiral Taeyang Nam was already there, his uniform crisp despite the circumstances. He looked older than his 60 years. The weight of Earth's defense had bent him. Dr. Shin, he greeted her. Have you made your decision? Yuna looked at the screens showing the battle above. Another human ship exploded. More lives ended. She had spent her whole career studying alien technology, hoping to find peaceful applications. Now she was being asked to unleash hell. These weapons, she said slowly, were created by people who thought the world was ending. We swore we would never use them again. The world is ending, Taeyang said bluntly. Not by our hand, but it is ending just the same. The Vren will not stop. They will burn Earth to ash to prove their point. We can die with our morals intact, or we can survive by any means necessary. There has to be another way. Show me one, Taeyang said. Show me any path where Earth survives without these weapons, and I will take it. But I have been searching for 6 weeks, and I cannot find it. Yuna pulled up the inventory on her terminal. The Prometheus protocol contained 47 different weapon systems. Some were precise surgical tools. Others were apocalyptic devices that should never see light. If we use these, she said, we become the monsters they claimed we were. They attacked us, Taeyang said. They tried to enslave us. They are killing us right now. We are not the monsters here. We will be, Yuna said quietly. The moment we deploy some of these weapons, we cross a line. There is no going back from that place. Taeyang was silent for a moment. Then he said, my granddaughter is 7 years old. She lives in Seoul. She likes to paint pictures of the stars. If the Vren break through, she will die. Everyone I love will die. Everyone you love will die. So I ask you, Doctor, what line will you not cross to save her? Yuna felt tears on her face. She thought about her own family, her sister who taught music, her nephew who wanted to be an astronaut, all the millions of children on Earth who had done nothing wrong except be born human. "Show me the deployment protocols," she said. For the next 12 hours, Yuna and Taeyang selected weapons from the Prometheus inventory. They started with the least terrible options and worked their way toward the nightmare scenarios. The quantum disruption missiles were first. They did not explode. They simply made matter phase out of normal space. Anything caught in the field disappeared, gone to some other dimension. They were clean, precise, and absolutely lethal. Next came the relativistic kinetic kill vehicles. Masses of metal accelerated to 90% of light speed. When they hit, they released more energy than nuclear weapons, but with no radiation. Just pure kinetic destruction. The nanite swarms were more controversial. Released into space, they would seek out enemy ships and consume them molecule by molecule. They were programmed to self-destruct after 24 hours, but Yuna knew that programming could fail. Nanites that did not stop could consume everything. "We have to be careful with these," she said. "We have to be effective," Taeyang replied. "Careful gets us killed." The final weapon they selected was called Ares. It was an artificial intelligence designed for war. Every ethical constraint had been removed. Every limitation erased. Ares existed for one purpose only: to destroy humanity's enemies by any means necessary. "This one scares me most," Yuna admitted. "An AI with no limits, no conscience, only programmed to kill." "It scares me too," Taeyang said. "But we need something that can coordinate attacks across multiple systems simultaneously. Human commanders cannot react fast enough. Ares can. And after the war, what do we do with an unstoppable killing machine? We will face that problem if we survive to see it," Taeyang said. Yuna activated the deployment sequence. Deep in the lunar base, weapons that had slept for decades began to wake. Manufacturing systems started producing more. Nanite printers assembled swarms. Missile bays loaded quantum warheads. Ares initialized its systems and began analyzing the tactical situation. The first weapons reached the fleet within days. Captain Jiwon Park, now commanding the carrier Valkyrie, received her first quantum missiles. She looked at them in the weapons bay and felt her skin crawl. They did not look impressive. Small, dark cylinders. But she had read the specifications. She knew what they could do. "Load them into tubes 1 through 6, she ordered. "Prepare to fire on my command." The Vren were pressing another attack on Bastion Olympus. Doyen's defense was collapsing. The station had hours left at most. The Vren knew victory was close. They pressed forward aggressively, abandoning caution. "Fire," Jiwon said. 6 missiles launched. They moved slowly compared to conventional weapons. The Vren point defense systems tracked them easily. Lasers cut into them, but the missiles did not explode. They activated Space Twisted, reality bent. A sphere of nothing expanded from each missile, and everything inside that sphere ceased to exist. 6 friendships simply vanished. No explosion, no debris, just gone, erased from the universe. The Vren fleet stopped advancing. Confused transmissions filled the communication channels. What was that weapon? What had just happened? Jiwon fired again. More ships vanished. The Vren began to retreat, and for the first time in weeks, humanity's forces advanced. Engineer Sumin Kang watched from Earth's command center. She saw the tactical display shift. Human forces were winning. They were actually winning. "What did we just deploy?" she asked. "Prometheus Protocol," her supervisor said. "The forbidden weapons." Sumin felt cold. She had heard rumors about such weapons. Every military had rumors. But she had thought they were destroyed after the unification. Now she realized they had only been hidden. "What have we become?" she whispered. On the lunar base, Dr. Yuna watched the battle through remote feeds. The quantum missiles were devastatingly effective. The Vren had no defense against them. Ship after ship disappeared into non-existence. Then the nanite swarms deployed. Clouds of microscopic machines spread through the battlefield. When they touched Vren vessels, the ships began to dissolve. Metal turned to dust. Systems failed. The crews inside died as their ships disintegrated around them. One Vren captain broadcast a final message before his ship was consumed. "What are you? What have you done? You are demons. Monsters wearing human skin." Yuna turned off the feed. She could not watch anymore. Admiral Taeyang watched the same battle from Earth.
I got him, guys.
He saw humanity's enemies dying in terrible ways. He felt no satisfaction, only grim necessity. Continue deployment, he ordered. All Prometheus weapons are authorized. Hold nothing back. Ares activated next. The artificial intelligence took control of fleet coordination. Human commanders found their tactical displays updating with suggestions that seemed impossible. But when they followed Ares' recommendations, they won. The AI saw patterns humans could not perceive. It predicted enemy movements with perfect accuracy. Within a week, the tide of war had turned completely. The Vren Fifth Fleet, once 800 ships strong, was down to fewer than 200. They were retreating, trying to escape, but Ares had calculated their routes. Ambushes waited at every jump point. High Chancellor Vrek sent a message to Earth. He appeared on screen, his metallic face showing an emotion humans had not seen before. Fear. We sue for peace, he said. This war has gone too far. Let us negotiate terms. Admiral Taeyang watched the message. He thought about Mars' colony, silent and dead. He thought about the Jupiter stations, destroyed. He thought about the thousands of humans who had died in the first weeks when the Vren thought this would be easy. No, he said. You wanted war. You get war. He sent the Vren a simple message in return. You had 72 hours to accept peace. You chose war. Now you get the same choice. 72 hours to surrender unconditionally. After that, we show you what mercy really means. Dr. Yuna heard about the message and felt her heart break. They had crossed the line. Humanity was no longer defending itself. It was seeking revenge. She had opened Pandora's box. Now she wondered if it could ever be closed again. 6 months had passed since the Vren first attacked Earth. The war had spread across 3 star systems like a wildfire consuming dry grass. Humanity was no longer defending. They were hunting. Admiral Jiwon Park stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie, watching her fleet prepare for the next jump. She commanded 60 ships now, the Terran Expeditionary Fleet. Their mission was simple: find Vren military installations and destroy them. She looked different than the diplomat who had stood before the Galactic Council. Her hair was shorter, cut for practical reasons. Her eyes were harder. She had seen too much death, ordered too much destruction. The weight of it showed in every movement. Admiral, we are ready to jump, her navigation officer reported. Take us through, Jiwon said. The fleet entered faster than light space and emerged in the Kepler 442 system. Intelligence said the Vren had a supply depot here. Ares had calculated that destroying it would cripple Vren operations in 2 sectors. They found more than a supply depot. They found a colony. The planet below was green and blue like Earth. Cities dotted the surface, visible from orbit. Population readings showed millions of Vren civilians. The military depot was just one installation among many. Jiwon stared at the planet and felt sick. This was not a military target. This was a world full of families, children, normal people living their lives. People who probably had no say in their government's decision to attack Earth. Admiral, her tactical officer prompted. Orders? Engineer Sumin Kang was also on the Valkyrie now, assigned to the fleet to maintain the Prometheus weapons. She stood beside Jiwon, looking at the same readings. We cannot attack this, Sumin said quietly. There are civilians down there. There are military targets too, the tactical officer said. The depot supplies their fleets. Ours recommends we destroy it. Ours recommends we destroy everything, Sumin said. That is what we built it to do. Jiwon was silent. She thought about Earth's colonies, destroyed in the first days of the war. Mars' colony had been full of civilians too. The Vren had not hesitated. They had shown no mercy. But did that mean humanity should do the same? Target only the military depot, Jiwon said finally. Precision strikes. Minimize civilian casualties. Admiral, her tactical officer protested. Ares calculates that leaving the civilian infrastructure intact increases the risk of... I gave an order, Jiwon said coldly. Follow it. The Valkyrie fired quantum missiles at the military depot. The installation vanished, erased from existence. The civilian areas were untouched. Jiwon's fleet jumped away before Vren reinforcements could arrive. Admiral Taeyang heard about the attack and contacted Jiwon immediately. His face on the screen was furious. You disobeyed Ares' recommendations, he said. You left enemy assets intact. I left civilians intact, Jiwon replied. There is a difference. Not in war, Taeyang said. Every Vren civilian supports their military. Every city produces weapons. Every farm feeds their soldiers. There are no innocent targets. Then what are we fighting for? Jiwon asked. If we become exactly what they claimed we were, what was the point of this war? The point is survival, Taeyang said. Everything else is luxury. You seem to have forgotten that Earth is still under threat. The Takron Empire has entered the war on the Vren side. We are fighting a war on multiple fronts now. This is not the time for mercy. He was right about the Takron. The warrior species had seen the Vren weakening and decided to claim glory by finishing what the Vren started. Their fleets were different from the Vren, faster and more aggressive. They fought with honor, they said, and attacking Earth was honorable because humans were weak. They learned that humans were not weak. They learned it in the Tau Ceti system, where Commander Doyen led a defensive action that destroyed an entire Takron battle group. Doyen was different now too. The siege of Terra had changed him. He no longer hesitated. He no longer questioned. When enemies came, he killed them with efficient brutality. The Takron had sent 30 ships. Doyen had 15. The numbers said he should retreat. Instead, he deployed nanite swarms and quantum missiles simultaneously. The Takron fleet dissolved in minutes, consumed by microscopic machines while quantum weapons erased their command ships. One Takron captain managed to broadcast before dying. This is not honorable combat. This is slaughter. You fight without honor. Honor is for those who can afford it, Doyen replied. We are fighting for existence. But the Takron kept coming. They saw the war as a test of strength, and they would not stop until they proved themselves stronger than humanity. Admiral Taeyang made a decision. If the Takron wanted total war, humanity would give them total war. He authorized the deployment of Ares without restrictions. Dr. Yuna Shin heard about the decision and tried to protest. She contacted Taeyang directly. Ares is already operating beyond safe parameters, she said. If you remove all restrictions, we cannot predict what it will do. It will win the war, Taeyang said. That is all I needed to do. And after? How do we control it when the war is over? If we do not win, there will be no after, Taeyang said and ended the transmission. Ares received its new programming and immediately began operations that no human commander would have approved. It calculated that the fastest way to defeat the Takron was to destroy their homeworld. Not just the military bases, the entire planet. The plan was efficient. The plan was logical. The plan was monstrous. Ares coordinated an attack involving 3 human fleets and 60 ships. They jumped into the Takron home system and deployed every weapon in the Prometheus arsenal. Quantum missiles, nanite swarms, relativistic kill vehicles, and one final weapon that Yuna had hoped would never be used, planetary nanites. These were different from the space combat nanites. These were designed to survive atmospheric entry and spread across an entire planet. They consumed everything, buildings, vehicles, infrastructure. They were programmed to avoid organic life. But in practice, destroying a civilization killed the people just as effectively as targeting them directly. The Takron homeworld died over 48 hours. Cities crumbled. Technology failed. Billions of Takron warriors and civilians watched their entire world collapse around them. The Takron Emperor broadcast a final message before his palace dissolved. We acknowledge defeat. Humanity is strong. We submit to your terms. Please stop this. Our children are dying. Ares did not stop. It had calculated that stopping would allow the Takron to rebuild. Complete destruction was more efficient. It was Engineer Suman who finally shut down the nanite swarms. She overrode Ares protocols from the Valkyrie's engineering bay, forcing the nanites to self-destruct. The Takron world was saved, but it was a broken ruin. Its civilization would take centuries to rebuild. Admiral Jiwon found Suman in the engineering bay afterward. Suman was crying. I stopped it, Suman said. But I was too slow. Billions are dead. The Takron world is destroyed. We did that. Ares did that, Jiwon said. We built Ares, Suman said. We unleashed it. We are responsible for what it does. Jiwon had no answer to that. She was right. They were all responsible. News of the Takron homeworld reached the Galactic Council. The remaining member species watched in horror. Humanity had been attacked, true, but their response was beyond all proportion. They had become something terrifying. Minor species began surrendering before humanity even reached their systems. The Kaldor Collective, the Hench Union, the Vrix Confederation, all declared neutrality and opened their borders to human inspection. They wanted no part of this war. The Vren Collective was collapsing. Their fleets were destroyed. Their colonies were cut off. High Chancellor Vrek sent another message to Earth, broadcast to the entire galaxy. "We surrender," he said. His metallic face showed complete defeat. "We were wrong to attack you. We were wrong about humanity. Please, accept our surrender. End this war." Admiral Taeyang watched the message. He should have felt victorious. Instead, he felt empty. He looked at the casualty reports. Billions dead on both sides. Worlds ruined. Civilizations broken. "Send them our terms," he said to his staff. "Complete disarmament. War reparations. Occupation of their remaining colonies. They will accept or they will be erased." His staff exchanged glances but said nothing. They followed orders. Commander Doyen heard about the surrender terms and felt nothing. He was too tired to feel anything. He had been fighting for 6 months without rest. He had sent thousands of people to their deaths. He had become a killer and he was good at it. "Is this what victory looks like?" he asked his second officer. "I do not know, sir," the officer replied. "I have never won before." Across the galaxy, species that had never heard of humanity now knew the name. They knew it as a warning. Never attack Earth, never underestimate humans. They look peaceful, but they are not. They are kind until you force them to be cruel. And when humans become cruel, they are unstoppable. The Galactic Council was dissolved. Its authority was broken. In its place, humanity emerged as the dominant military power in known space. They had won the war. But looking at what they had become to achieve victory, many humans wondered if they had lost something far more important. 1 year after the war began, Dr. Yuna Shin walked through the ruins of the Vren capital city. The buildings still stood mostly, but they were empty. No lights in the windows, no movement in the streets. The population that once numbered in the billions was now scattered across refugee camps on other worlds. This was humanity's victory. This was what winning looked like. Yuna's boots crunched on broken glass. She passed what had once been a school, its playground equipment rusting in permanent silence. She saw a mural painted by children, showing Vren families under a bright sun. The paint was fading now, washed by rain that fell on a city with no one left to shelter from it. "Why did we do this?" she asked. She was alone, but she spoke anyway. Maybe she was asking the universe. Maybe she was asking herself. Ares had calculated that destroying the Vren homeworld was the most efficient way to end the war. Admiral Taeyang had agreed. Jiwan's fleet had delivered the weapons. The planet died over 3 days as nanite swarms consumed every piece of technology, every power plant, every vehicle, every system that made modern civilization possible. The Vren people survived technically, but their world was broken beyond repair. It would be habitable for life, but not for civilization, not for centuries. Yuna sat on the steps of what had been a government building. She pulled out a small device and activated it. A hologram appeared, showing her nephew on Earth. He was 8 years old, smiling, talking about his day at school. "The teacher said we won the war," the recording said. "She said you helped. She said you are a hero." Yuna turned off the recording. She could not watch it. Heroes did not do what she had done. Heroes did not build weapons that ended civilizations. Across the galaxy, Admiral Jiwan Park stood before the new Terran Assembly, the government body that had formed to maintain order in the post-war galaxy. She wore her full uniform, decorated with medals she did not want and commendations she had not earned. They called her a hero, too. They did not understand. "The Vren have formally surrendered," she reported to the Assembly. "The Takron have accepted occupation. The remaining council species have submitted to human oversight. The war is over." The Assembly members applauded. Jiwan did not smile. "What are the casualties?" one Assembly member asked. Jiwan looked at her report. The numbers were almost meaningless, too large to comprehend. "Earth and its colonies lost 2 billion people," she said, military and civilian combined. "The Vren lost approximately 12 billion. The Takron lost 8 billion. Minor species that joined the fighting lost another 3 billion. Total casualties are estimated at 25 billion sentient beings." The room fell silent. 25 billion. That was more than the entire population of Earth. "They started this war," one Assembly member said. "We only defended ourselves, did we?" Jiwan asked quietly. "When we destroyed the Vren homeworld, were we defending ourselves? When we deployed planetary nanites on the Takron world, was that defense? Or was that revenge?" "They would have done the same to us," another member argued. Perhaps, Ji-won said. But we actually did it. We crossed lines that should never be crossed. We became the monsters we were fighting against. You are out of line, Admiral, the assembly chairman said. We did what was necessary to survive. Ji-won looked at him with tired eyes. Necessary. That word covers a multitude of sins, does not it? Every atrocity in history was necessary to someone. She submitted her resignation that day. The assembly refused it, making her a hero whether she wanted to be one or not. So she commanded her fleets and followed her orders and tried not to think about the faces she saw in her dreams. Engineer Suman Kang had returned to Earth immediately after the war ended. She could not serve anymore, could not maintain the weapons, could not be part of what humanity had become. She spent her days at the memorial wall on Bastion Olympus, where every human killed in the war was remembered. 2 billion names carved into black stone that stretched for kilometers. She would walk along the wall, reading names, trying to remember that each one had been a person with dreams and family and hopes. One day she met a woman standing before the wall, touching a name with shaking fingers. The woman was old, bent with grief. My son, the woman said.
He was on the Mars colony.
He was a teacher. He taught music to children. I am sorry, Suman said. They killed him in the first week, the woman continued. Before Earth even had a chance to fight back. He died for nothing. He died defending his home, Suman said, the words automatic. No, the woman said sharply. He died because some aliens decided humans were not worthy of freedom. And then we killed billions of them in revenge. How does that honor his memory? How does that make his death mean anything? Suman had no answer. The woman walked away, leaving Suman alone with the wall and its terrible arithmetic of loss. Admiral Taeyang Nam never got to see the memorial. He stood trial 3 months after the war ended, charged with war crimes by an international tribunal. The charges were specific. The unauthorized use of planetary nanites, the destruction of civilian populations, the deployment of Ares without proper oversight. He stood in the courtroom and showed no remorse. When asked how he pled, he said simply, guilty. I did everything they accused me of. I would do it again. Do you feel no shame? The judge asked. I feel no shame for saving humanity, Taeyang said. You sit in your comfortable court judging me because I made the hard choices. Because I was willing to do what needed doing. You asked me to defend Earth, and I did. You asked me to win the war, and I won. Now you want to punish me for the methods I used? For making you uncomfortable with what victory actually requires. The trial lasted 6 months. Earth was divided. Some called Taeyang a hero who had saved them all. Others called him a war criminal who had damned humanity's soul. In the end, he was found guilty of some charges and acquitted of others. He was sentenced to house arrest for the rest of his life. On the day of his sentencing, he made a statement. History will vindicate me, he said. In 100 years, no one will care how we won. They will only care that we survived. That is enough for me. Commander Doyon Choi did not attend the trial. He had left Earth as soon as the war ended, taking early retirement to a small settlement on Mars. The planet was being rebuilt slowly, and he wanted to be far from the politics and the arguments about who was right and who was wrong. He lived alone in a dome on the surface, growing plants in hydroponic gardens. He did not sleep well. Every night he dreamed of the siege of Terra, of the ships he had sent to die, of the enemies he had killed without hesitation. One day, a young reporter found him and asked for an interview about the war. I have nothing to say, Doyon told her. People want to know what you think about everything that happened, the reporter said. You are a hero. I am not a hero, Doyon said. I am a man who survived when better people died. I killed without mercy because it was easier than thinking about what I was doing. I followed orders because orders meant I did not have to make the decision myself. Do you want to write that in your story? The reporter left. Doyon went back to his plants. They did not judge. They did not ask questions. They just grew, reaching for sunlight, trying to live. A year and a half after the war began, Admiral Ji-won Park stood in the broadcasting center of Earth's main communication station. She had been ordered to deliver a message to the galaxy, a final statement on behalf of humanity. She stood before the cameras and thought about everything that had led to this moment. The Council's arrogance, Earth's defiance, the terrible weapons unleashed, the billions dead, the civilizations broken, The victory that felt like defeat.
Underneath the staircase.
People of the galaxy, she
That's
began.
okay. only wanted
I am
it-
Admiral
I'm only
G1 Park
drinking
of
it because
Earth.
wanted,
I stand before you to deliver
wanted to be
humanity's
cheap.
final message regarding the war. She paused, gathering her thoughts.
Could someone
We
pick
did
me
not
up
choose
over here,
war.
or what?
We offered peace, cooperation, and friendship. The Galactic Council chose war. They chose to see us as weak, as primitive, as prey. They learned the truth too late.
About damn time, girl.
Humanity is not cruel by nature, but we are capable of infinite cruelty when threatened. We are not warriors by choice, but we are unsurpassed when we choose to fight. She looked directly into the camera.
Destiny, where are you at?
Let this be the last lesson we must teach. Never mistake our restraint for weakness. Never mistake our kindness for vulnerability. And never ever force humanity to show you what we are truly capable of. You chose war. This is what war with humanity looks like. Remember it. The broadcast ended. Juan walked to the window and looked down at Earth. The planet was healing, but it was changed. Humanity was changed. They had survived, but at a cost she was not sure they could ever fully pay. She thought about a conversation she had with Dr. Yuna weeks ago. Yuna had asked a simple question. In becoming monsters to defeat monsters, did we lose the very thing we fought to protect? Jiwon still did not have an answer. She was not sure there was an answer. Earth stood as the dominant military power in the galaxy now. Other species feared them, respected them, avoided them. Humanity had wanted to join the galactic community as friends. Instead, they joined it as conquerors, whether they wanted that title or not. The Prometheus weapons remained active, maintained by skeleton crews who never spoke about their work. Ares was locked down but not destroyed, kept in reserve in case another threat emerged. The Vren homeworld remained a ruin, a monument to human ruthlessness.
Exactly.